Okay, so 2024 is officially over pretty much. I mean, it's like December 16th or 17th by the time you're watching this. So it definitely probably is pretty much over. I consider it over already. I'm sure many of you already do as well. And I kind of want to talk about some of the things I learned along with this year and kind of some of the stuff I'm planning on doing leading into the next year, 2025. So if you couldn't tell already, I'm in a whole new room, you know what I'm saying? This is basically my old childhood bedroom, which if you couldn't tell already by like how the light's coming in, I have a very good natural light source, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to move up here, but also because like I have my old room back. We kind of cleaned this room up, got it situated, and I'm officially coming back in here, which is gonna be pretty cool because this would give me a good place to make content in. The sound though, because I know it echoes a lot in here, I'm gonna do something about that. I think I might have some like sound, what do they call it, sound foam or something like that in the room. Either that or I'll just go into like an editing software and change it. But until then, the echo's gonna be here, so I apologize for that. But until I get that situated, just kind of get used to it, man. I can't lie, like there's not much I could do right now. But yeah, it's pretty cool to be in my old room. If you couldn't tell by like the zigzags over here, these are like mountains my mom did in my room when I was like a kid. I have no clue why, but they're like part of my childhood now. So can't really think of getting rid of him like at all. But 2024 was a pretty interesting year for me, right? I think this was the one year where I really decided to create a lot more content on social media, both on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And it's just kind of crazy that like nowadays creating content for me has become kind of a normal thing because I believe like it was essentially earlier 2023, no, later 2023, I almost completely stopped creating content entirely. Like I almost gave up. I was kind of going through this period of my life where I was like, yo, dude, like the content I make, it's not really gaining any traction, which was to be expected, mind you, because I've only been making content for like a couple of months. And, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to start making videos and all of a sudden I'm going to just take off, right? Not how that works, especially on YouTube, because YouTube is definitely a hard platform to grow on, which if I'm being honest, I kind of like. I like how YouTube is a little bit harder to grow on because it kind of forces you to create good quality content that will perform well to actually gain a good following. And I'm not going to, bash TikTok or anything, but it definitely feels like you can create some pretty like, you know what I'm saying, more goofy, not as effort put into videos and get really good results if they, engage with a certain audience. But I feel like YouTube is definitely like, yo, you want to really become a content creator, let's see what you're really about. We recently hit 100 subscribers on YouTube, which was really awesome, and I want to appreciate once again every single one of you guys that come back and watch these videos and continue to subscribe and support. It really does mean a lot to me. And it's funny enough because now I feel like I'm really in a position where I can really consider myself like at least somewhat more of a social media creator on YouTube. Like building an audience on social media has always been difficult. And I think YouTube is definitely a very good indicator of that because it took me essentially a year to hit 100 subscribers, right? Now, I did take a very long period away from social media, like when I was on YouTube. So that definitely could have contributed as to why it took me so long. But it definitely is hard to build a following, especially on YouTube here. I will say though, I personally do feel like I'm starting to get back into the swing of it, and I definitely want to create a lot more high quality content for you guys as well. And I'm definitely trying to make that one of the main goals for this year, 2025. So when it comes to personal development, I would definitely say I've made a lot of strides with that. I think one of the biggest areas of my life I've definitely made strides with is probably like personal development in terms of fitness. I would definitely say that's probably one of the bigger ones because for the longest time, especially throughout high school, I was like the same weight, like between like 118 and like 124, which was obviously pretty bad. Like you don't want to be that skinny. And I'm a pretty short like black dude as well. So it's like when you're short and you're skinny, it's like dang, it's a bad combo. But the first year out of high school, I was definitely trying to put on more weight in terms of like eating and kind of going to the gym a lot. But I realized that I wasn't focusing that much on my nutrition, and especially like when it came to working out consistently and balancing good nutrition, I was definitely not doing good on both those ends. And as of recently, I definitely feel like I've worked on that a lot. And it's definitely given me the results I've wanted because now I'm like 120, or not 120, 148, I think. Maybe a little bit less. I'm like 146. So I'm getting up there in weight. I'm pretty close to 150 now, which for me personally isn't like a crazy weight to hit, but it definitely is a sign of progression, which I'm very excited for. Along with that, things like reading, waking up early, and kind of just focusing on other areas of my life have definitely been a focus. And weirdly enough, I've made strides in those areas, but it still feels like I'm kind of behind. I don't know who can relate to this, but there's always that feeling of like, why didn't I just go after this a tad bit harder this year, right? Around, New Year's or whenever the new year comes, because you know that once the new year hits, everything that you did beforehand leading up to this point is going to be kind of reviewed as like, how did I perform this year? Like, what exactly did I do to work on this area of my life? And I definitely feel like, I mean, I've made strides, like I said, but it's definitely nowhere near as, I guess, like progression wise as like I wanted it to be. I definitely feel like I could have put in a lot more work when it came to things like reading and, probably focusing more on, I guess, kind of just skill honing as well. I feel like I wasn't as aggressive when it came to learning those skills I wanted to learn, and just a whole bunch of other things, man. Like sometimes I feel like I kind of get easily distracted, which was one of the main things I tried to take away from myself a lot, was distractions and try to put myself in a better position. But like I said, they tend to creep back in pretty quickly. So in terms of overall skill development, I would definitely say things like marketing and sales have definitely been a focus for me personally. Now, landing a job with these skill sets is a little bit harder, especially nowadays, because obviously if you know, the job market is kind of crazy. But overall, definitely have made a lot of progress with that. I would definitely say the one thing though is actively applying the skill set itself, which is a little bit harder to do. Obviously, some people can sit there and tell you like, oh, just read books, just take courses. It's not as simple as that. Okay, you have to really sit there and be diligent, both in applying for positions that are related to that role, but also just actively doing them. Like role playing if you do sales, or setting up fake customer profiles. Not like fake, but like placement customer profiles to help with like certain businesses and agencies, so they have an idea of what you can do, so that when you are working with people, you have a better understanding of what it is you're trying to do. But yeah, honestly, that's pretty much really it for me on that end. And I definitely would say that this year is going to have a lot of different moves and impact that I'm trying to work on currently right now as we speak. But the biggest takeaway I can take from this entire year leading into the new year is time moves by fast, bro, right? So I'm 20 years old right now, and that's such a crazy feeling to feel, because when I was like 18 to 19, it felt like time was moving like super slow. And obviously it is still kind of moving somewhat slow, but not at the same time. And now that you get a little bit older, you kind of feel the effect of like, time speeding up, as everybody said, responsibilities, stuff like that. And I definitely am starting to realize more and more now that like the growth aspect is in your responsibility to kick in. And I feel like it's definitely one of those things I want to work on a lot more this coming year. It's just getting things kind of, up and running for myself, because I feel like I've been kind of on and off, and I don't want that to be the case anymore. So definitely gonna work on that, but time moves by fast. If you have ideas of doing something, dial in and lock in, because I promise you that time will not be here soon. I promise you that. But with all that being said, 2024 is officially at an end. 2025 is just around the corner, and we have a lot of things planned for the new year. Hopefully we have a lot more strides in certain things. That's one of my main focuses right now, is just building momentum leading up to the new year and using that momentum to get me to where I want to be at in the next coming year. But that's pretty much all for me. Hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. Have a good day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.